Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the invisible economic forces that decide the price of, well, everything, from your morning coffee to your weekly groceries. And we're going to do it by looking at just one simple item. And yeah, it all starts with this loaf of bread. So, what's the real story here? Why does it cost what it does? Why did you pick that one? And on the flip side, why did a baker even bother to make it in the first place? Believe it or not, all the answers to those huge questions are hiding right here. Inside this 10th grade economics textbook from Ethiopia, we're going to use this as our guide to unlock the secrets of how the market really works. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with your side of the story, that decision to buy the bread. Then we'll look at the science of satisfaction and what it costs to even create the bread. After that, we'll see where price is born, explore the different market playgrounds, and finally, give you a brand new economic lens to see the world through. Okay, let's dive in. Picture this. You're in the grocery aisle. Our whole journey into economics kicks off with a choice you have probably made 1,000 times. The simple act of putting a loaf of bread into your shopping cart. So, what is actually happening in your brain at that moment? What's driving that decision? Well, economists have a really powerful word for this, and it's basically the secret key to understanding why we buy anything. That word is utility. Utility sounds complicated, but it's not. It's just the satisfaction you get from something. Bread has the utility to satisfy hunger. A coat has the utility to keep you warm. It's just the want-satisfying power of a thing. Okay, but here is where it gets super interesting. Your total utility, that's your overall satisfaction, it goes up with each slice of bread you eat. But look at that last column, marginal utility. That's the little kick of extra satisfaction you get from each additional slice. See how it starts off really high and then just tanks? And when you actually visualize it, the story becomes crystal clear. Your total satisfaction, the blue bars, goes up and then just hits a ceiling. Meanwhile, the satisfaction from each extra slice, the orange bars, is in a free fall, eventually hitting zero. That's the point where you're just full. That seventh slice adds literally nothing to your happiness. So the takeaway here is huge. The more you have of something, the less you value getting one more of it. That first slice of bread when you're starving, it's incredible. The 8th slice, it's just bread. That right there is the law of diminishing marginal utility, and it pretty much governs every single choice we make. Okay, we've cracked the code on the buyer. Now, let's go behind the counter. To get the whole picture of that loaf of bread, we have to step into the baker's world, the person who got up before dawn to make it for you. You see, for a baker, costs really only come in 2 flavors. First, you've got fixed costs. Think of the rent for the bakery. That cost is the same whether they bake 1 loaf or 1,000. Then, you've got variable costs. This is the flour, the yeast, the electricity. These costs go up with every single loaf they make. And putting it all together, it's actually super simple. The total cost of making that bread is just their fixed costs plus their variable costs. That basic formula is the foundation for pretty much every business on the entire planet. All right, so we've got a hungry consumer who's driven by satisfaction, and we've got a baker who's managing costs. Now it's time for them to meet. We're heading into the marketplace. This, my friends, is where the magic happens. This is where a price is born. So on one side, you've got all of us, the buyers. We create what's called demand. And the law of demand is really intuitive. The lower the price of bread goes, the more of it we want to buy. Simple as that. And on the other side, you have the bakers. They create supply. And the law of supply is basically the mirror image. The higher the price of bread goes, the more they are willing to bake and sell. Why? Because it's more profitable for them. So you have these 2 powerful opposing forces. Buyers are pulling the price down, and sellers are trying to pull it up. Market equilibrium is that magical sweet spot, that perfect point of balance where both sides agree. It's the exact point where the number of loaves people want to buy is the exact same as the number of loaves bakers want to sell. In the textbook's example, which was actually for shirts, not bread, this all happens at exactly 20 bear. At that specific price, there's no shortage and no leftover surplus. The market is cleared. I love that term. It means everyone who wanted a shirt at that price got one, and every seller who wanted to sell at that price did. It's perfect harmony. But hold on, there's a really important twist here. That perfect balance, that equilibrium, it doesn't happen the same way everywhere. See, Not all markets play by the same rules. The structure of the market, let's call it the playground, can totally change the game for everyone involved. Just look at the night and day difference between perfect competition and a monopoly. Think about a farmer's market with tons of different farmers all selling identical carrots. That's pretty close to perfect competition. No single farmer can decide the price of carrots. They're price takers. But a company that's the only provider of a vital medicine, that's a monopoly. They are the price maker. So after our whirlwind tour through a 10th grade economics textbook, what's the big takeaway? How does this change how you see that simple loaf of bread now? Well, it really just comes down to these four fundamental building blocks. Utility explains your desire. Costs explain the baker's ability to make it. Supply and demand are like these invisible hands that negotiate the price. And equilibrium, that's the final handshake that seals the deal. And just like our textbook says here, it all boils down to one thing. Everyone, from you in the grocery store to a giant corporation, is just trying to make rational choices to maximize their own satisfaction, whether that satisfaction comes from eating a good slice of bread or from turning a profit. Now that you have this new economic lens, you can suddenly see these hidden forces playing out all around you. So the next time you're at the store, just look around. What's the real story behind that gallon of milk or that bunch of bananas? Now that you know the rules of the game, which everyday item will you never, ever see the same way again?